Good afternoon to you all. Welcome to Ichis and Voices. How are you doing and how's your week been? Yes, it's another exciting Friday and we are excited to talk disability issues. Ichis and Voices is brought to you by NAPVID, the Network for the Advancement of People with Visible Disabilities. We at NAPVID are on a journey to create a society with equal opportunities for persons with disabilities. My name is Siri, your host for today, and with me in the studio is Kinsley and Barbara.
Yeah,
Hello.
a very exciting Friday afternoon, and indeed, I'm glad to come and talk disability once more. I'm not tired of talking about disability because we have to create that awareness.
Barbara.
Well, I would say I feel especially excited about today because of the topic we'll be talking about. So just sit back and listen.
Okay, thank you. So today is the International Day for Education. I guess that's why Barbara is excited being an academia herself, right? Yes. So today we're celebrating International Day for Education and the theme is AI and education, preserving human agency in a world of automation. Wow. Okay, so let me just do a quick down of the education sector in the world, then we'll bring it back to Nigeria because we are in Nigeria. So, according to UNICEF, the primary school completion rate was at 59% in 2020 for boys and 51% for girls. The secondary school completion rate is lower, with boys at 42% and girls at 36%. So let's come down to Nigeria. So Nigeria's education system faces an alarming crisis with over 102 million children of primary school age and another 8.1 million of junior secondary school age out of school, and 74% of children aged 7 to 14 lacking basic reading and mathematics skills. Wow. So that's a very depreciating percentage from the discovery by UNICEF.
I would have loved to find out the completion level in terms of education now for persons with disability, particularly among those with hearing impairments. I feel like the completion level from primary to tertiary for those who are visually impaired, I want to believe is higher than those who have hearing impairment, because it seems like a lot of persons with hearing impairment seem to drop out at the secondary level. You don't find many persons with hearing impairment in the universities. I hope my stat is not wrong, but just based off my experience, I think more persons with visual impairment, those on wheelchair,
And physically challenged,
yes, yeah, seem to find their way to the university than those with hearing impairment. That's because maybe the university as well, they are not well tailored. The system does not include, it's not that inclusive for persons with hearing impairment. Imagine you are attending the class, there are no sign language interpreters. You can hardly understand what the lecturer is saying. But for a blind person, he wouldn't need that. He can hear what the lecturer is saying. He can easily relate to the people around him. Same thing for those on wheelchair. So I would really love to see the stats for persons with disability when it comes to the completion rate from primary to tertiary institution. But I want to believe my suspicion is not wrong. But that's not the topic for today. I think we are talking education and AI, right?
Yes, that's the topic for
Yes, that's the
today.
topic for today. Well, sorry, before we go to education and AI, I don't know if I'm the only one that is bothered about. I think there is a crisis going on in the educational sector in Nigeria today that we are not
It's been in
addressing.
crisis for a long time.
No, I think it just got worse, and it seems like everyone is silent and we are moving on like nothing is happening. Um, when I growing up, not going to school seemed like a crime at point, and parents whose children were not going to school seemed like they were quite irresponsible. But these days, I see parents who are actually very comfortable with their children not going to school, and the bad side of it is that this child is not going to school. He's not even learning a trade or anything. So you are not anywhere. They just walk around the streets doing nothing.
Yeah, because of the popular phrase that
School
Scam.
na
schooner
scam.
scam. I mean, a
Yes.
system that rewards people who do not go to school. You see non-state actors. I don't like to say this, who become millionaires overnight. People do all sort of shady things to make money. So the younger ones are looking at it and like, "Well, it doesn't matter anyway. I still have to make this money regardless of whether I go to school or not." So it's a terrible situation. Very, very terrible. I mean, if you see professors going on strike every year,
You wouldn't even be motivated.
exactly. So
And
that's
then there is this trend that is going on in secondary schools. I think it has gotten to the primary school level, and I think it's quite alarming, right? When we were in school, exam malpractice was quite a big deal. Yes, because I remember when I wrote WAEC, our teachers took it very seriously that if they caught you doing exam malpractice, they will personally report it to the external examiner. Now these days, I hear issues of schools paying to let their
man,
paying
you're making this sound like it's a new thing. I
no,
mean,
no,
this has been
it's
on for
becoming
long.
more rampant these days,
Very
honestly. And
true.
why I started feeling disturbed was when I heard about primary school children that went to write common entrance, and they supplied answers to them. Now imagine a child starting at that level to cheat. How is that child going to make it through secondary school and then to university?
Well, they'll say the end justifies the means, I guess.
Oh
So,
wow,
and
like
that's probably very terrible.
That primary part is actually very terrible. I was thinking you were
it's
saying
no,
secondary,
it's too
primary.
bad.
Well, for persons with disability, make I even just enter the school first. I mean,
Wow.
many of them don't even have access to education. Imagine we are still in an era where we are talking about segregated education for persons with disability. So if you are in Akoko Edo, for instance, you would have to find your way to Benin to be able to access education. But with inclusive education, wherever the child is, he can go to the nearest primary school and just be in class. But unfortunately, that's not what we have in Nigeria. We still have segregated education. Inclusive education is not that big, but that's what NAVID has been advocating for the longest. And NAVID is still advocating for inclusive education. We've had series of interaction with the Edo State government. We've drawn a roadmap on how inclusive education can be implemented in Edo State, and we are hoping that this new administration will continue from where the previous stopped in terms of that interaction with NAVID to bring education, inclusive education, to make it a reality in Edo State, because that will really help many persons with disability. So we don't move away from the main subject.
Main subject. Okay, so if you're just joining us, we're still talking about the International Day for Education, which is a global celebration in recognition of the transformative power of education. It is a day to talk about how education had contributed to building a better future for individuals and societies
And the
worldwide.
theme?
Yes, and the theme is AI and education. AI and education, preserving human agency in a world of automation. Okay, so Kingsley, I wanted to add the UNESCO statistics, because when we are talking, we need to back it up with statistics to prove that the education sector, not just in Nigeria, all over the world, is declining day by day. But because we are in Nigeria, right, that is our area of focus. Okay. UNESCO says 258 million children and youths are out of schools, with girls and marginalized groups like persons with disabilities affected. Then it also says 60% of primary school children in low income countries fail to achieve minimum proficiency in reading and mathematics. That mathematics. And
But maybe away from the stats because of time.
Yeah.
I think what's important for me is how AI is aiding persons with disability in terms of teaching and learning. There was a time where personally access to the internet was a big problem for me. I remember being in tertiary at the tertiary level. When the teacher gives an assignment, I will have to rely on my colleagues to follow them to the cyber cafe, and where they are not available, I'm handicapped. I probably can't do anything. But that's not the same thing today. From my comfort zone, I could just access the internet from my phone. With the use of AI, I don't need to rack my brain for so long. I know Barbara has a thing against it because she feels it kills creativity. But I don't. I think AI has come to aid human existence. I mean, we don't have to stress ourselves all the time. I mean, I don't have to, you know, I don't have to. How do I put this now? life is not that hard. So I mean, do it yourself, make it easy. That's what AI is all about. I don't know, maybe Barbara has a different view.
Well, I do have a different view because looking at what is happening in tertiary institutions, even secondary schools these days, there is a lot going on, and you see, people do not do much of critical thinking or problem solving, and they rely on AI to do everything for them. So I'm not trying to deny the fact that AI is good, especially when it comes to helping people with disabilities, and not just people with disabilities, everyone. But I feel like it's being abused at this point. And with the way things are going, I think human beings are going to really lose their creativity.
Because of AI?
Yes, possibly.
AI will make human beings lose their creativity.
I think they've started already because
I don't
some of
really agree
us.
with that. But anyways, let's go on a quick
Okay.
break. Let's go on a break and we'll be back. Don't forget the program is Stitches and Voices.
If our world is what we make of it, then we know that our choices and decisions are what shape our society. And what we have right now is what we have given, for it's only a mirror of who we are. Sadly, the reflection isn't pretty. Staring back at us from the mirror is a broken world of social injustice, discrimination, and prejudices, especially against people with disabilities. Championing the cause to heal this split is a network for the advancement of people with visible disabilities, NAPVID. We have decided to be a voice. You too can. Join Hitches and Voices every Friday at 2 p.m. on Independent Radio 92.3. Hitches and Voices. Spot the hitch. Be a voice.
All right, welcome back from that break. Don't forget the program is still Hitches and Voices on Open Radio 92.3. My name is Kingsley Okoja, and still with me in the studio, I have Siri and Barbara. So, Barbara, maybe before I come back to you, let's hear from our kids, children with disability, on their thoughts on the International Day for Education and what education means to them. Let's hear from our kids.
Name is Ruben Chiba. I'm a pupil from School for the Visually Impaired Primary 4. I want to talk about how education has impacted my life. Education makes me feel happy because when I go to school, I learn more about education. Like now, I can work on my own mobility and I can read and write with the help of typewriter, braille machine, and slate and stylus and other things used for reading and writing. So now I want to encourage all the parents that they should take their child to school, mostly the ones that have disabilities. And disabilities is not a barrier. They should take their child to school and let their child be educated. Happy International Day for Education.
My name is Naomi Edupolo. I am Basic 6. Education has helped me to know more since I started going to school. It has helped me to read and write by myself. So I encourage everybody with disability to go to school so that they can be able to read and write by themselves so that they can become somebody in life. Happy International Day for Education.
With Seho Ojabu, people from School for the Visually Impaired, I'm in primary 6. What education has done for me, which will make me to know things I've not known before. I can do things I cannot do for myself, like I can read, I can write. I think it's good for others to put more effort in education to be a good member in the society.
All right, those are kids from the Edo State School for the Blind talking about the impact of education in their lives, and you can see how excited they are talking about the much they can do because of education. So if you are parents out there and you have your wards with disability at home and you think they can't do anything, those children just proved you wrong. There's so much those kids there can do. And in case you know of anyone who has a child with disability and they're probably not too confident to bring out that child, or they are not aware that there are schools those children can go and at the end of the day make meaning out of their lives, you've been educated. So do well to educate those people. Let them bring out their children and let them take their children to school. Still on the topic of AI and education, Barbara was saying something before we went on that break that AI kills the creative instinct. Ah, are you saying we shouldn't use the calculator?
Well, I don't think calculator really has anything to do with creativity.
No, I mean I have to just use my head to calculate it now. Why would I even resort to the use of a calculator if I can? I mean, I should just
Okay,
calculate it on my own.
let me explain, right? I know
Calculator
that.
just aids, makes it faster. Not like you can't calculate, but
Mm,
it just helps to make it easier. I don't know if the comparison makes sense though.
to me,
It
it's not.
doesn't.
It's
Ah,
it doesn't actually. So when we talk about AI in the educational sector, it should be something that is complementary, right? Um, the people who are involved, the kids or the students, have to do some of thinking on their at their own level, while they complement it with AI. Like you said, life is not that hard. Life should not be hard, right? And it's just like saying you don't want to use washing machine when you have that option. But when it comes to learning and creativity, there's a difference between you getting stuck up somewhere and letting AI finish it, and you not even making an attempt.
Oh, like copying from AI stricto sensu, just
Yes,
everything word for word. Just
exactly.
oh,
So
okay.
you see a lot of individuals growing up and they do not have problem solving skills. You have a problem and you don't even try to think about it first to try and come up with a solution on your own, and the next thing you're going straight to AI. And you know the funny thing, sometimes when they get AI to do those jobs, they don't even care to find out how it is done or try to learn to an extent. They just do copy and paste, and that's just it.
But that's where the world is heading towards now. AI. The in, the current U.S. president during the campaign was very heavy on that, and I just learned that he's going to invest over $500 billion in AI. And people just say AI is the future. But your argument is that AI should not replace human intelligence. I
Exactly.
yes.
mean, the fact that AI has come does not mean we should just jettison our creative instincts and completely rely on AI. And you said AI is complementary. It's basically there to assist you, not to
Everything.
replace your
Your thinking
your
faculty.
thinking faculty. And when I talk about AI helping persons with disability in terms of research, because for persons with disability, our access to printed material is very limited. Even if you talk of internet access, not many persons with disability or many persons in Nigeria, the internet penetration in Nigeria is still very poor. So, but for persons with disability who can access the internet and who can pay for internet services, in terms of research, AI just makes it easier for you as one with a disability because you are limited in terms of trying to go and sort the pages of a printed material or if you have to do too many research flipping surfing through the internet to look for information with AI it makes it a bit easier for you. But I can understand Barbara's argument. AI has come to stay, but we must know. But I think a lot of training is also going on the how to use AI itself. I mean, I've seen a lot of people offering to train people on the use of AI. So it's not like an open thing where you just go there and there's a way to be abused, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes.
definitely. Even when you spoke about research, you know that AI can also give you materials that are not correct. It has that tendency to do that. So that's why you talk about training on how to properly use AI. People research with AI, and they sometimes they there's this reliance that they don't even try to verify the results. So
Very true. I'm going to add to that. I'm going to share a personal experience. So the time I wanted to post something was on my LinkedIn page, and I wrote something inspiring, right? So I felt like, okay, let me just put it on ChatGTP. Just help me refine it. Use the right words. I had like three, more than three paragraphs or so. Then I gave it to ChatGTP, and I just saw just compiled everything to one paragraph. Like I'm like everything I wrote, where is it? Right? So sometimes it's always good to just think. some of the things you even need to write is even you even pass it more because women have a way of you tend to pass more information emotionally. Now, have you noticed when you
Yes.
use AI, it's
There
just
is no
straightforward, no
empathy.
empathy, no emotion. It's just straightforward. Do this, do that. But when you're writing by yourself, thinking from what you've experienced, it carries more message and more emotion.
Oh, okay, okay, but from your apart from the challenge you have with AI in terms of its abuse, I'm talking to Barbara now.
Yeah.
How do you think AI can help in terms of uh, our educational system?
Well, I think AI can be a very vital tool in our educational system, right? There are certain for one research, like you said, I think Nigeria can we can testify that there are, well, I say I don't even know if there are much libraries in Nigeria to start talking about how many of them are actually well
Are you
equipped.
talking about physical libraries, or
Physical library, yes.
are we still advocating for that? Would there still be a need? Well, there's still. I don't think
Well,
we can
people still use
completely
the
say
library.
physical library is no longer useful, but I think e-library seem to be the new trend now, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So, in terms of research, AI can be quite important. And then, in terms of problem solving, in certain aspects, right? There are times where you could use AI to, well, I say, teach people how to do critical thinking. AI has this feature of coming up with puzzles, right? If you are someone who's trying to learn problem solving or critical thinking, so it's kind of it can if the teachers can really learn to use AI, it can change the educational system, the curriculum, and make it more
Flexible.
adaptive
That's it.
and flexible.
And I think we also need to work on our educational system. I mean, our educational curriculum, because the idea of read, pass, and forget, we just study to pass the exams. We don't study. There's no room for critical thinking. There's no room for problem solving. It's just your ability to pass the course. And that's why when people graduate, they hardly can remember some of the things they were taught in the university, because at that time, the pressure is just for you to pass the course. And once you pass it, so we basically just do a lot of crap.
So no, actually, they don't even need to graduate. No, that's you are taking it too far. They don't even
Okay.
need to graduate to forget it. I remember in my third year, a lecturer was saying something in our class, and he made reference to something we were taught in our first year, and more than half of the class couldn't remember. And whatever he was saying was built on the knowledge of what he was referring to that we were taught in first year, and we cannot remember. We have not graduated yet, too, but so it's that bad. The educational system in Nigeria needs a whole lot.
Of
Of
reformation.
reform.
Yes, it does.
All right.
Okay.
So it seemed like you wanted to say something. Yeah, just go on.
I'm going to add that yes, in as much as AI is important, we should not also forget the human efficiency in it. It is very important. That's the theme for this year. So I'm sure we would have noticed the lag in
All
the
right, it's
use of
about creating
AI
a balance.
for both.
Yeah, it's the AI era, but we must create a system where AI does not replace, like I said, human intelligence.
Yes.
But we must also be excited with the fact that AI is also a tool that persons with disability can take advantage of and make learning and teaching easier for them. It's a wrap on the program today, Hitches and Voices. And don't forget, Hitches and Voices came to you courtesy of Network for the Advancement of People with Visible Disability, NABID. In case you're interested, you want to follow us on our various social media platforms, Cyril?
You can look us out at Facebook Navid, Instagram official_Navid, X at Navid Nigeria, or check us out at www.navid.org. You can also call us on 091 3607 3671. Barbara, you want to say something?
Before we go, please try to see the movie Out of My Mind. It was released last year, and I think it's something everyone needs to see as it concerns the education of persons with disabilities.
Yes.
Out of My Mind is a movie you must watch out for.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, the crew will be with you same time, same station next week. From all of us here, Spot H,
Be a
Be a
be a
voice.
voice.
If our world is what we make of it, then we know that our choices and decisions are what shape our society. And what we have right now is what we have given, for it's only a mirror of who we are. Sadly, the reflection isn't pretty. Staring back at us from the mirror is a broken world of social injustice, discrimination, and prejudices, especially against people with disabilities. Championing the Course to Heal This Split is a network for the advancement of people with visible disabilities, NAPVID. We have decided to be a voice. You too can. Join Hitches and Voices every Friday at 2 p.m. on Independent Radio 92.3. Hitches and Voices. Spot the hitch. Be a voice.
92.3 Independent Radio. Now.
Okay, she don't give me something. Roja, Roja over. I don't even tell you governor like she do me karashika. Make I no feel liver. Me way be John Cena. I say I swear.